It's been 10 years that Tennessee's been with Nike since switching from Adidas. So, we'll see where it goes. It sounds like, Nike will have a chance to counter. I can't remember how Brent worded this. If it's like it's like an NBA like restricted free agent contract or something where you can just say, okay, we'll match that, and you have to stay with Nike, or if Tennessee has a choice at that point. I think I understood it to be like, okay, if Nike wants to match whatever Adidas puts out there, they can, and they'll just stick with Nike. Like they won't have a choice. I think that's how it would work out. But I think obviously if Nike matched whatever Adidas put out there, I think Tennessee would be happy to stick with Nike.
Yeah, ultimately, switching here is a huge undertaking. It was previously when you did it with Adidas. It would be again. I don't think that will happen unless the money is compelling enough.
Yeah.
And we got to bring this up. The number one news source in Tennessee media, Richard G. West, who, if you don't know Richard G. West, is he got pissed at you, Zach, when you called him a parody account.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It was like a month or two ago. Yeah.
Yeah. What should we call him? He tweets things that sometimes are intentionally fictional. Take that however. But with that said, he also has somehow seemed like he's had kind of an ear to the ground with Tennessee sports, and he's tweeted some things like a week ahead of time, and then a week later it happens, and it kind of seemed like he's got a little inside track. Maybe
someone's burner account. We don't know.
Maybe.
Or somebody that knows somebody.
Is it Danny White secretly?
I would love that.
We will never tell or know. But he tweeted Richard G. West, and take it however you would like to. He tweeted that Tennessee has received a contract offer of $200 million from Adidas and to be Adidas's flagship brand. Again, is it true? Lord knows. Is it false? Lord knows.
Do we know?
There it is. But go ahead.
Do we know what their deal with Nike was for the last 10 years?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Because I don't know, like that figure to me, I don't know the context of how much these deals are usually worth. So I don't know if that's like an absurd amount or if it's crazy low. I mean, obviously we'll know in the coming months if it was accurate or not. But just for the sake of kind of, going over what could be in play and what might not be in play, I wonder if that's anywhere in the range of what these deals typically are. Like, would that be a crazy deal that Tennessee couldn't turn down type of thing?
I'm not entirely sure. And of course, you don't know what Nike would counter with. But the part that stands out to there's two parts of this that stand out to me. If this were to be true, let's say that he nails this one like he has a few in the past. And this is the full tweet. Inside sources at Tennessee confirm Adidas has presented terms to be the new apparel sponsor for UT Athletics. Adidas will make Tennessee the face of its brand in college athletics, along with a hefty check north of $200 million for a 10-year deal. So $20 million a year. Again, who knows if that's true? Maybe in 2 days we find out that it's not. Maybe in 2 days we find out that it is real.
So here's a report from the Associated Press in 2016, 2015, or 2014, I'm sorry. When this is from the San Diego Tribune via the Associated Press, that they signed the deal to run through 2025, which is the one that's about to expire. They got a $2 million signing bonus upon agreeing to the deal. And it says contract details obtained through a public records request indicated the deal was worth approximately $35 million.
Wow. Okay.
So that's $200 million would be a pretty big number. Now I know inflation and all that. That was only a decade ago.
Yeah. So $20 million a year compared to that. How long was that one?
That's 10 years. That was
3.5.
Yeah.
Going from, you're tripling your money there.
Yeah, and there were some performance bonuses, which I like playing in the SEC football championship game, which obviously never happened.
There's a decent amount to cover here because kind of with Nike, you're always going to be second fiddle at least to an Oregon, or whoever is the hot name at the time with Nike. It kind of revolves just because they have so many teams that they sponsor. But if this were true, let's say that it is. Let's say that this report ends up being correct from RG Dub. And Adidas's offer is to make Tennessee the face of their brand and $200 million in the NIL era. Would that be worth it? Now I know I do have to give this disclaimer. I am not, what is even the word, an apparel enthusiast. I'm not a sneakerhead. I have 10 of these. Like, it's the national championship shirt for the baseball team. Like, I have a bunch of that, but I'm not like, oh, Nike released this special polo shirt and new shoes, and I got to get it's just not me. It's totally cool if you are, and I know a bunch of people that are, and
I usually default to Nike on stuff, but that's just kind of because I don't know, they just own that space, really. So it's not really like a choice. It just happens, right?
It's the most available thing.
Yeah.
And so would I really care if Tennessee switched back to Adidas? Not really. And don't. I know that's going to piss off some people from what I saw on Twitter this last time. I just don't. I don't care that much.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't think anybody's opinion on Adidas versus Nike is necessarily wrong. Like, you liked what you liked.
Yeah, exactly. Do I like Nike uniforms more? Yeah, I do. I think they're cooler. And
now there is a point there that we should bring up, because I think this is really important. Most of the pushback I've seen on Twitter and social media has not really been so much the clothes you're going to buy off the Fanatics website or wherever. And look, there's other companies that will make Tennessee apparel. Like, you don't have to go buy Adidas if they do it. Vol Shop has tons of that stuff, right? But the pushback has been the uniforms, right? Like, we always remember really those Butch Jones era Adidas uniforms in like 2013 and 2014. They were not that great. And even some of the ones before Butch were very just mundane. But what Brent Hubbs said last week on the radio is that Tennessee would have complete control over the uniform design, and they would present that to Adidas, and then Adidas would go make that, right? Like, there might be some alterations maybe with how it's made and whatever, kind of the fine print on all that, but Tennessee would get to design what they want. So this wouldn't be like Adidas bringing a Tennessee uniform and saying, hey, this is what you're wearing, hope you like it, right? Like, it would be Tennessee designing that and them choosing what the uniform looks like. So you're not at the mercy of Adidas when it comes to uniform design.
At VIP Play, we'll give you a VIP Play welcome bonus when you make your first bet of $5 or more. You'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly, and that is with code A2ZTN. We're trying to pump this up. VIP Play, formerly Zen Sports. We've been working with them for a long time. 200 plus leagues over on their app. Totally new app, totally refreshed. I told you last week that I downloaded. Looks great. It's right up there with the big boys in terms of design. They also have new and more convenient deposit and withdrawal methods coming soon. Next VIP Play app update will continue to upgrade features to make the experience even better. We've told you about the VIP Players Club sweepstakes, and players can receive daily profit boosts such as 25% MLB parlay boosts on 3 picks or more. They got everything over there. VIP Play. Go and download it. VIP Play, where everyone gets treated like a VIP. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet. And it's those types of things that just make me go, it's sort of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I just am not super compelled in any direction, because ultimately, I mean, I think this is literally like a Hanes color, whatever. That's just not my deal. And so take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, just like the RGW tweet. And if you're super into it, I get why people say Nike is cooler. We can be completely honest there. But also, I would say, give credit where it's due. Adidas, in my opinion, has gotten a little better.
Yeah, Miami's rocking it. They're recruiting pretty well. They just stole a guy from Georgia.
Right.
5-star recruit, Jackson Cantwell.
I mean, if you got enough money, like
This
that's
will
going to
help you
speak
have.
louder than the uniform that they end up having to wear. And my ultimate take in all of that is, what uniform do I want to see Tennessee wear? The one that they win in.
Yeah.
That's the one that I want to see them wear. Which one will help them win more football games? That's the one I want them to wear.
Yeah.
And
It can be
to that
Reebok.
point,
It can be Reebok coming from the grave or something. Who cares?
Camp Sports. I don't care. Give me whatever fruit of the loom. I do not care, as long as they are winning football games at a very high level. And with that said, does the two potential, possible, theoretical, well, let's call it theoretical, that's the best word here, does the theoretical $200 million, if that ended up coming to fruition and being real, is that compelling enough to go like, hey, this gives us an extra $10 million a year to work with? Because this day and age, like, let's add it up. Danny White wants Tennessee to be an everything school. Reportedly, Native men in basketball is getting $3 to $4 million. The baseball team, what? 2, 3, 4 million total. It's somewhere in that range-ish. So let's say the basketball team's 10. Let's say the baseball team's 3. There's 13. For football, where are we at this point?
I think you're almost to the point where it's got to be 20 moving forward. I mean, I think
was going to say 40.
Well, I don't think we're there yet, but I think we will be there for sure.
Yes.
But I think right now, to field a playoff roster, I mean, what they were talking about, I mean, it was like a year ago, they were talking about A&M spending $20 million, and people were losing their mind that was such an absurd figure, and now it's not.
Nope.
So it's rapidly increasing, and maybe that'll get caps. God, we hope it gets capped soon, not because the amount of money, just the fact that everything it leads to and the disruption of the sport and the chaos, all the things we've talked about. But I mean, yeah, it's going to keep climbing. So you need whatever Adidas gives them. If it is $200 million, and I was doing some more research on the Nike thing, the deal was amended at some point, but it didn't get into that range. Like in 2017, they upped it a little, so they're getting a few million extra a year. So even if you say they're getting like 10 at the most, and I don't think it was that much, this would still double that. I think if there's no cap, if this never gets under control, the NIL spending, I think in 2 years, you're looking at that and saying that's not enough. We're going to need more money than that. So I think you have to take the richest deal. I don't think
I'm sure the mega donors that are footing all of those bills, I'm sure they're looking and going like, hey, it'd be nice if somebody else's $20 million would go towards this and not mine.
Yeah, especially when you're paying for like high school recruits, because that's the part of this that's not sustainable. Like if you go get a wide receiver that's played 2 years in college, right, and you're going to pay him 1.5 or 2 million, you kind of know what you're getting. But you go get that 5-star recruit. I don't care how much you love your evaluation of him. You never know until they're on the field, under the lights in an SEC stadium, who that guy really is. You never know. So there's going to be checks that you write that you get absolutely no return on, and the same person is not going to keep writing that same check.
Yeah, eventually that train will run out because it's. The return has not been there to this point. But let's say realistically 35 to 50 million a year to truly to be an elite everything school like Danny White has asked everyone to be here. I mean, $20 million.
I mean, Lady Vols too are getting up there.
Yep, that's true. Add them in there. Yep. Kim Caldwell has definitely been spending. And
she deserves she deserves whatever budget she needs, in my opinion.
Number 1 transfer class, number 2 recruiting class right now. She's doing it. So yeah, like I said, 35 to 50 million at the moment. That might go up, and you're at 40 to 50% of that with just Adidas's cash here. If this was real, if it comes to fruition, money talks. That'd be pretty sweet. I could deal with a couple of crappy Adidas alternatives every year if you get 40% of your NIL budget paid for every year by one company. That wouldn't be bad. Just a thought. We'll see.
I think there should be absolutely no pushback on Danny White if he makes it still, because if you want this team to win, if you want this program to win, and you want baseball to win, and you want women's basketball to start winning again, and men's basketball to continue what they're doing, and football to get over the hump, because they haven't even got to the top of the mountain yet, so you're not even asking them to sustain it.
Yep.
Clearly, it's not enough, so you need to throw more resources at that. I mean, the money has to come from somewhere, and you know, Danny White's a great athletic director because he can manage all these different things, and you know, I don't see the real downside in it. If just you don't like the shirts is the only downside, then like get over it. Like you just that's not a good enough reason, and I don't think the recruiting aspect of this is going to be a factor like it used to be, because it used to be recruits weren't getting paid, or at least not legally. If they're getting any cash, it's under the table. You know, you got to hide it and be smart about it. It's almost stressful to deal with it. Not that they were turning it down, but yeah, I mean, you're getting free gear, right, from the schools, and whatever. You're 17 years old. It makes an impression. You want the cool gear, and I'm not saying that that's why you commit to Tennessee or another school. I'm sure there's cases where that has been, you know, what happened, but you know, it leaves an impact, right? In that era. This isn't that era at all. Like it's a business. It is a full functioning, basically pro level style recruitment where you're making your decision on how much are they going to pay me? Are they going to get me to the NFL? Are they going to get me to my next payday? Basically,
Yeah.
it's not even the NFL. It's if I'm a freshman, are they going to get me to where I can get paid as a sophomore here, there? I mean, it doesn't matter where. Where am I going to get my next check from? They're not going to turn it down just because it's Adidas or Nike, right? Like that. Like if that happens one time, I'd be surprised. And if it happens one time, then oh well, you know, you're not going to sacrifice the funding of the program to bring in talent for one or two players in the future.
I mean, you did used to hear that back in the day. That some players would go, "Oh, I'm not going there because it's an Adidas school." That's just, I mean, that's not happening now. Maybe a one-off here, there. Maybe if the kid has an endorsement deal with Nike, okay,
yeah,
which that's a whole separate sort of conflict of interest conversation there. But outside of stuff like that, I mean, the part we haven't even talked about, again, if this whole thing ended up being true, if Adidas made you the face of their entire brand in college football, kind of how Oregon is with Nike, I mean, that has serious value. It would. Adidas carries a lot of weight, especially internationally. I mean, they're the face of soccer internationally. That's really the market they've cornered. And I'm sure they want to get a much bigger foothold into college football. And if you're right there on the cutting edge, that's pretty cool. That would be sweet.
Marketing's a big deal of this. Like you need your brand out there as much as ever. I mean, Tennessee's already a recognizable brand, but the more it's out there, the better. And at Nike, you're definitely not, you know, in the top 5 programs that they're pushing. You're not going to be, as long as the Alabamas and Georgias and places like that are there. Adidas, it's like what, Oklahoma, I think is Adidas, right? I know Miami is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but those are pretty much like your biggest name programs, and those are, you know, premier long-standing programs that carry a lot of weight. But you're not going to be fighting as hard to get in front of those people. I think that the Tennessee brand sells, and it sells well. We know that. We see it everywhere. Anytime you travel anywhere, it's there. So I think they would be eager to push that. And I think you're right. I think there is a lot of value in that that's probably going under the radar a little bit in this.
Could be. And now I guess it's just a waiting game to see if that report's actually true. Yeah. if RGW gets another one.
Yeah, and that was just, I mean, that if we're going to call it a report, but that's
whatever you call it, the tweet.
it was expected that at some point very soon an offer would be presented, and then obviously there's negotiations, there's back and forth, there's Nike having to, you know, sign off on we're not matching that, or maybe we'll give you this. I mean, and that's the other thing too. Like if Adidas is 200 million and Nike's 150 million, just using those numbers, Tennessee has a decision to make then too. Like, do we stick with Nike for 50 million less, which is what, 2.5 million less a year? Is that, are we okay with that? I mean, I can see how this would take into, later in the summer into late June, early July to make a decision.
Yeah, we'll find out. I think they'll stick with Nike ultimately.
Do you?
Just the switch out would be such a big undertaking.
I mean, you got new uniforms coming in constantly, right? Like, there's always some little
Yeah,
redesign. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the opposite. I think it's going to end up being Adidas because I think they're going to make if what Brent Hubb said was true, is that Adidas is courting Tennessee. It's not like they're just trying to say, "Oh, that deal's up. Let's see if we can get in there." It's more like Adidas wants Tennessee. Now, how badly they want them, we'll see. But that alone makes me think, okay, they're going to pursue this and try to take Tennessee. Like they know they have to make a competitive offer to beat Nike, right? Like they wouldn't be in strong pursuit of Tennessee if they didn't think they had a chance. If it was just like a Hail Mary, let's see if we can work something out. I think they know what it's going to take. So that's the reason I kind of lean on the side of I could see the switch happening.